Don't go on a villain arc. The internet made the villain arc look cool, but most people don't realize that they're not becoming stronger, they're becoming lonelier. I have personal experience in this matter, and I want to talk about this very important subject because it has personal meaning to me. Villain arcs are not a good thing, by the fact that it's called a villain arc, and I will explain why this is the case. So before I even begin talking about a villain arc, what even is it? Some people might not know what it is. Well, a villain arc is usually an emotional response to something bad that has occurred to you. And the result of that emotional response is that you go on a journey of self-exploration, where you try to become a better person, educate yourself, and become stronger. And supposedly, after this journey is complete, you'll have proved the person that hurt you wrong. But I am here to tell you that this is not the case, and it is far from it, and a lot of people don't realize how false this is. So, where does a villain arc stem from? Well, the villain arc is an emotional reaction, and it usually comes from either rejection, betrayal, heartbrokenness, losing a friend, or failure. People become avoidant after one of these things has happened. And usually people isolate themselves to think of what had happened that caused them to lose these valuable things, or whichever individual one that they lost. People spend sleepless nights overthinking of scenarios that might have or might not have happened. In the end, though, they cannot figure it out. And so they usually blame themselves, even though they do not know if it's their fault. And so they try to punish themselves by doing difficult tasks, going on a self-improvement journey, which of course, it is a bunch of crap. I've explained many times in my other videos that usually it is not your fault, and people change. This self-punishment is not worth it, and it doesn't change anything. It doesn't make you a better person. In fact, what I'm explaining in this video is that it actually makes you worse. And you don't even realize it. You get angry, and anger is a great fuel, but it gives you terrible direction. You try to go to the gym more, you try to learn more, and you try to build discipline. But projecting that anger into these things leaves you hollow. This refocus to these things does not help you. It doesn't improve you, it doesn't help your mental health, and it doesn't shape you into a better person. In fact, it makes you bitter and cold. You might be wondering by now why I am saying all these things. It sounds like I'm self-projecting it, but I will get to it eventually, and you will understand why I am talking about this. Another thing that the villain arc does is that it makes your life built around proving people wrong. You are actively thinking to yourself, I'll show them. I'll become far better than they ever could be. And that's a huge issue, because now they have control over your life, even though they're no longer in it. That is not what you should have in your mind. Instead, what you should be thinking is, what kind of person do I want to become? Do not think that you had made a mistake. Do not try to prove them wrong for anything. Instead, they shouldn't exist in your mind. They shouldn't exist anywhere. Another key point I want to make is that being cold is not the same as being confident. Confidence says, I know my worth, but being cold means nobody deserves me. And that's a huge difference, because one is confidence and one is selfishness. The other thing that people do go on their villain arc is isolation. People isolate themselves from everybody because they want to see who they are and what they can do. But that is a huge problem, because then you get used to it. And when you become isolated, you never want to open yourself up again. And you start not talking to people that you used to. Friends, family, siblings, relatives, people, nobody. And a person's not supposed to live like that. Another thing is that some people believe they should become like the person that hurt them and turn whatever they did back to the world. And that is not what you should be doing. You shouldn't become what you hate, because then you will hate yourself. Someone lied to you and now you begin to lie. Someone betrayed you and now you begin to betray. Someone was cold to you and now you're cold. What did you accomplish? Did you actually grow into a better person? No. But speaking of growth, real growth is boring. Nobody makes edits or talks about going to bed early, saving money, reading books, going to therapy, learning to forgive, and building healthy relationships. But those are the things that actually make you a better person. You shouldn't be going on a villain arc. You should be going on a heroic arc. You shouldn't be striving to be a bad person. You're not a bad person. You're not. Because if you truly are a bad person, you will become like I am. And this whole video is actually in a way self-projecting. I hinted it. Now I'm saying it out loud. I am guilty of every single point I made in this video. And I still am. and I have not improved because I'm stuck. And I absolutely despise it. I don't hate myself. I hate what the world has become. And I hate that I can't change it because things are just getting worse. And even though I try to be a good person, I do things right. I do talk to people. I just can't let go. I cannot let go. It's really difficult. The worst part is it only gets harder and more painful as you keep going. Isolation. I want to talk about this in a separate video. Make sure to subscribe to see what other videos similar to this one I will be making in the future. Many important topics I will be talking about. Isolation is also one of them. I have been isolated for 4 to 5 years. I've had new friends actually, which is quite surprising, but I don't really consider them friends. I just see them at the gym, talk to them for a little bit, and that's it. We don't really go out. I've gone out with one guy like maybe once or twice. I'm not really friends, you know. I don't feel friendship, you know. And the reason is because I've been scarred. I remember what it was like to have friends that I thought were actual friends, and losing them all just left me broken, really. Now I don't have anyone, because I know that if I put in the effort to gain friendships and build a group and start socializing, that eventually it's all going to fall apart anyway. So what's the point? But then again, I tell people, don't be like me. Many people see me at the gym and I go kamikaze and I lift like insane weight, which I shouldn't be. My body is scarred from it. It has marks all over it, showing the struggles I've put it under. My body's not supposed to lift the way I do, but my mind puts it to do it. And everyone thinks I'm nuts and I'm the strongest, and people say that they should be like me. And I say to them, no, you shouldn't be anything but like me, because I will be the end of you. If you become like me, you will regret it. And I've said this as advice to anyone that asks me, you know, how do I do it? How do I progress so much? And I say, I fuel my pain into what I do here. And it's not just for workout, I do it for everything, even this video. I'm pouring my pain right now into this video. And it's not emotion. No, I'm pretty cold about this. In a way, I'm complaining, you know? And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people like me. But that's the issue. We're so isolated from each other that nobody knows that they're not the only person that's feeling this way. And I'll be honest, I don't call myself the villain. I don't think of myself as a villain. Just because the world is against me right now does not mean I'm the bad guy. Have you seen movies where the hero is turned against by everyone around them? You have. But the thing is, they still do not turn into the villain. And that is what you're supposed to do. No matter how much the world tries to bring you down, no matter how many people betray you, no matter how cold, lonely, sad, angry you feel, you do not turn into the bad guy, because you never were the bad guy. That's what I tell myself, but I tell others as well. Because I don't want to see another person go through what I have. You know, loss leaves you scarred. Anger is used in places where it shouldn't be. I constantly keep thinking maybe I should prove people wrong. In a way, I've got that at the back of my mind, but I don't think that way, because even though I'm behind in life, because I do feel like I am behind everyone else and I'm playing catch up, I still don't have hate towards those people. But I do pray that one day I do surpass every one of them, but I do not think of them. I am cold. I am a cold person. I feel like my laughter and my smile is fake. And that is because I can't really do it anymore. I can't really feel that joy. So I just try to mimic what I used to feel, just to make the other person not fall into the despair I'm currently in. And it doesn't feel good. But at the same time, at least I'm doing it selflessly, and I can look at myself in the mirror and say, thank God I'm trying to do the right thing of not making this person me. Don't become the people that hurt you. And in a way, I am not. And I'm glad that I'm not, because I wouldn't abandon anyone. Isolation is the biggest one I just want to mention again. If you are thinking of sitting alone in a room, overthinking of your problems, replaying them in your head again and again, trying to find a solution, if you think that will solve your problems, it will not. Far from it. It will make you worse. It will make you fall into an endless cycle where you cannot escape. I'm finally fully isolated in my room. I don't go out not very fun, especially at my age, in my mid-20s. I'm trying to do something, I'm trying to make something of myself, but it is extremely difficult because I don't have backup. I don't have anybody that is supporting me. And you might say, well, your parents are. Yeah, they are. But in a way, parents are like, well, just go and do something normal if this doesn't work out. It's difficult being in isolation because the scariest thing in this world is a man with his own thoughts, left alone in a room in the dark. That is a scary thing, dude. Because that man can become the most frightening thing on this planet or the most caring. One of the two, not both, not in between. And this is why the male loneliness epidemic is a thing. Because men like me get let down. And then instead of getting revenge or hurting the other person, we point the finger back at ourselves and we say, no, it's your fault. We look in the mirror and say that. When in reality it isn't. You shouldn't be so hard on yourself. We all make mistakes, but some mistakes are not made by you, and you should know that. Forgive yourself once in a while. Forgive yourself that you're only human. And do not believe for a second that you're a bad guy. You're not a villain. So don't go on a villain arc. Be a good person. Be a hero. That is all I've got for today. Hope you enjoyed the video, Chads. I'll see you another time. Have a good one.